Thank you very much. To all our witnesses, let me start a round of questions, 5 minutes. The administration has issued a statement of administration policy supporting a repeal of the 2002 AUMF. Madam Secretary, I assume the State Department was part of that process, and as I think your testimony suggests, the state supports repeal.
Yes, we do.
Ms. Crass, was the Defense Department part of the process for the statement of administration policy, and does the Defense Department support repeal?
Yes, we were part of that process.
And does the department support repeal?
Yes, we have no objections to appeal.
And now it's my understanding that there are no ongoing military operations for which the 1991 or 2002 AUMFs are necessary as a domestic legal authority. Is that the case, Mr. Vicek?
Yes, it is, Mr. Chair.
I understand that the 1991 and 2002 AUMFs are not necessary as the domestic legal basis for any detention activities at Guantanamo Bay. Is that accurate?
That is correct.
Similarly, neither the 1991 nor the 2002 AUMF is necessary for the detention of ISIS members abroad. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Now, the administration has not cited the 2002 AUMF in relation to the U.S. defensive actions against Iranian-backed militias in February and July. Is it accurate that the administration believes it has sufficient authority under Article 2 to defend U.S. interests and personnel against Iranian-backed militias and does not need the 2002 AUMF to do so?
That is correct.
If there was a need for the administration to take sustained action against Iranian-backed militias, or Iran for that matter, in a manner that goes beyond Article 2 authority, would the administration come back to Congress, Madam Secretary, for a new AUMF?
As we all have said, yes, we would.
All right. Based on those responses, I don't think Congress would be doing its job or living up to its constitutional responsibilities if we do not move forward with repealing the 1991 and 2002 AUMFs. It was an authorization to use force against Saddam Hussein and Saddam Hussein's Iraq. The need for that authorization ended over a decade ago. And as our witnesses just testified, neither AUMFs is needed for any ongoing operation or detention activities, period. Moving forward with this repeal of this authorization is not just what's important for us to do to uphold our congressional oversight responsibilities, it also directly responds to the overwhelming will of the American people to curtail endless wars in the Middle East. Now, I suspect there will be a lot of hypotheticals, what-ifs, thrown at our witnesses today, but I believe our duties as senators is not to dream up scenarios in an effort to keep a dead-letter law on the books, especially when it comes to something so serious as sending our troops into harm's way. The 2002 AUMF is not the answer to any threat that we are facing today. And if other existing authorities are insufficient to address those threats, I would expect the administration to come to Congress to seek a new AUMF. Now, Madam Secretary, I have heard the arguments against repeal that it would weaken our position vis-a-vis Iraq, Iran, and in the Middle East more generally. In fact, Senator Risch and I recently had a productive meeting with Iraqi Prime Minister Kadhimi on numerous facets of the U.S.-Iraq bilateral relationship and the challenges it faces with Iranian-aligned militias. Our discussion underscored that we are in a radically different paradigm in our partnership with Baghdad than we were in 2002. So some have argued that repeal of the Iraq AUMFs will cause the United States to appear weak. I don't personally agree to that, but I'd like to hear from you, from the administration's point of view. What is the administration's position on that point? And what steps is the administration taking, and will the administration take if a repeal passes to ensure the United States maintains its overall leverage in the region?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Indeed, we believe that repealing the 2002 AUMF is a signal of the bipartisan work over the last more than 2 decades to establish an Iraq that is very different than the one that existed at the time that the 1991 and 2002 AUMFs were decided. We now have a strategic partnership with Iraq. It is, in fact, a sign of strength that together, both Republicans and Democrats have created a relationship with Iraq that is built on strength, on a strategic partnership, that indeed, as you pointed out, we are currently in a place, as was decided by the Iraqis themselves, where our troops are focusing on training, enabling, and advising our Iraqi partners. That indeed the U.S.-Iraq strategic dialogue in July resulted in a communique that was less focused on military cooperation as the defining feature than having the Iraq government itself commit to defend any American personnel or troops in Iraq. I think it really speaks to how strong we are in the region, that in fact we have developed this strategic relationship with Iraq. Iraqi forces, including the Peshmerga, have shown increased capability to lead counterterrorism efforts and defend Iraq's sovereignty. And I think it speaks to the strength and the success of the bipartisan efforts in building this strategic partnership. I think, as well as you've heard from me and from my colleagues, that the President will not hesitate to take action if we believe that any backed militia, Iranian or otherwise, are a threat to the United States, that he has sufficient authority under his Article 2 abilities and relying on a revised 2001 in other appropriate circumstances to take targeted strikes, as he did in both February and on June 27th. So I think, quite frankly, Senator, rather than speak to weakness, this speaks to strength, that the United States has established this strategic partnership, that Iraq is quite a different country than at the time of Saddam Hussein, and that the United States is poised to have a different relationship with Iraq and in the Middle East.
Thank you very